Thank you. We ready? Morning, everybody. You good?
You can go. It's 3:55.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Around 12:09 this morning, the sheriff's office was dispatched over here to the Winton Drive area on the northwest side of Jacksonville in response to a 911 call of a shooting. The officers were dispatched to this general area. A couple officers arrived looking for victims in this case that had made the 911 call. The officers, when they arrived, didn't find anybody, so they thought they may have had a spurious call of a 911 shooting when they couldn't find any victims. As it turns out, the victims self-transported over to UF Health and took themselves there, obviously, by their own vehicle. So some of the information that was put out to the officers in this area was that the potential suspect vehicle involved in the shooting was a black car. So around 12:15, just a couple minutes after the first call went out, we had two officers, one of which was a recruit and the other was his training officer riding in the same car. Came over to this area, and they found what they thought was the original shooting scene. They found some shell casings and some evidence that led them to believe this is where the shooting was. And as they're in that area, they see a black car pull up. The field training officer is actually out of his car, kind of waves them by. As they see him wave them by, they pass by him, ignoring his commands, ignoring his orders to stop, leading them to believe that the black car that was driving by them could be involved with this. They get back in their car and begin a pursuit, short distance pursuit, but blue lights and siren chasing them through some residential neighborhoods. The suspect vehicle, as it's driving, is throwing various items out of the car seat, that sort of thing. It comes back over here to an intersection behind me, which is on Cavalier Drive here. When the vehicle slows down and the passenger in that black vehicle exits the car, the training officer is actually in the passenger seat of the police car, exits that and begins to chase the passenger from the suspect vehicle on foot, chases him into a driveway of a house towards the back. The information that we received from that officer and through his attorney was that the suspect clearly had a firearm in his hand at that time and ran towards a dark area behind this house. It's kind of relative, but the area that's behind the house is a large ditch that runs behind the house and goes to the house on the next street behind it. It's a large, heavily shrubbed ditch that's back there. So as the officer is in the backyard, something transpired that caused him to deploy deadly force against the suspect. At least 4 shots were fired by the officer. Don't believe that any shots were fired by the suspect. The suspect was hit one time in the lower left leg and was apprehended as he made it to the other side of the ditch by other responding officers. He too was transported to UF Health with non-life-threatening injuries. The officer involved is a 6-year veteran, Matt Heiss, H-I-C-E. This is his first shooting with the hit. He did have a shooting within the last 2 years. That was a shoot and miss that he had. That officer has been placed on administrative leave. So I'll go back a little bit to the original shooting. Our Violent Crimes Task Force detectives responded to investigate that. There were 2 individuals that were shot in that original shooting at the 1209 call that we went to. One of them was shot in the middle back, and the other one was shot in the arm. Both of those folks have non-life-threatening injuries, and it looks like they're going to be treated and released. So we're investigating what transpired with that original call. Some indications may be that it is drug and robbery related, that this was some kind of robbery setup. And the black car, I was obviously involved with them at some point in time. Working now to identify exactly what parties are involved and determine truly what happened there, and the suspect that we have in custody, what charges he's facing, and his involvement with the original shooting and the officer involved shooting here tonight. The area that's in this ditch line behind the house it's a pretty substantial sized ditch, and we are working our way into that now. We've not located a firearm at this time, but again, we've only made it to the beginning part of the backyard of this house, taking it slowly, step by step, looking for evidence, not trampling on it since we have an officer fire 4 shots, and there's a lot of shrubs and it's dark, so should know by daylight where we are. I will hold a follow-up news conference with these individuals being identified, a little bit more details about what happened at 3 o'clock this afternoon at the Police Memorial Building, but I can take some questions now.
What happened to the driver of the vehicle?
Yeah, that's a good question. The driver of that black vehicle fled. Again, you have a recruit that was the driver of the police car, and his training officer went out on foot chasing him. That recruit did not pursue. Again, he was by himself, and not at that point where he would be at the level that he would do that. So he did not give pursuit to that black car. No other officers found it. So the driver of that car and the black car are both out and about at this point in time.
Are the victims being cooperative that were shot?
Yes, it appears that both of the individuals who were shot were cooperating or are cooperating with detectives, and that's why we have a little bit of that sketchy information now that it could be drug-related, robbery-related, but that will become clearer with some time.
The people on Periscope are asking if there's any injuries to officers.
No, luckily, the officer involved in this was not injured. It just goes back to how dangerous this job is. You never know what you're doing. You know, you're coming out to a shooting scene and nobody's there, and the next thing you know, the suspect, for whatever reason, is driving by and engaging in a pursuit and getting out with guns in their hands, not following lawful commands, not following orders. Just a bad scene.
The original scene, where is it in relation to?
The first scene where we had the double shooting is at Winton Drive in Champlain, and that's where the 911 call came in. And this again is on Cavalier Drive here where we are, and that was at the intersection of Cavalier, just down from me here.
Okay. He said the officer said he saw a weapon. Or is that,
Yeah, I understand though that when we deal with these officer-involved shootings like this, that we get limited information based on, that officer does have a right to legal counsel, and they have that through their fraternal order police attorneys that would come out, and we get some information offered through that attorney. The information that we had was that as he exited the car, he clearly had a gun in his hand, and we'll get further as that goes along. But
was a weapon recovered?
No, at this point in time, like I said, the weapon has not been recovered, but the shooting actually occurred in the back of the house. The house is for sale. There was nobody home. The area that's behind it is very dark, and we've not made our way to it yet. We're only a couple hours into this, so I wanted to get you the information as soon as I could. Daylight and some time should help with that, to know one way or the other.
Was there a struggle or a reason why the officer gave as to why he decided to use deadly force?
No. Again, you get a limited proffer or offered statement through his attorney. There's nothing that's really clarifying that at this point in time for us either.
Besides the driver, do we think there are other suspects out there possibly involved in this, either the original shooting?
I don't really know. I know that the black car is involved. But, my answer was that they're cooperative, and we're working through that to do it. As soon as we may be able to identify it or the car, certainly if anybody has any information about this, you can remain anonymous. You can call the Sheriff's Office through Crime Stoppers at 1-866-845-TIPS. Remain completely anonymous. Let us know if you know something about who was involved, or you can call the Sheriff's Office and become involved.
You said there are several items that were thrown from the suspect's car, including a car seat. Has anything illegal been recovered from the streets?
No, we've checked the path there. Oddly enough, it's trash items that were in the car. Can't find anything of evidentiary value that would have been thrown out.
Any other questions?
Thank you all very much, and again, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yep.